All right, folks, meteorologist Joe Haynes with you. Let me get you an update on what's going on with our Mega 3 live stream. We'll start with what happened earlier today weather-wise. We'll get with our KTPS 3 weather watchers in just a moment. First, the National Weather Service data. This is the almanac here for today, what goes down in the record books at the Shreveport National Weather Service. Low temperature this morning at 52. That was about 8 degrees above the average for this time of year. And 82 this afternoon's high, and so 66 is the average low. So, 16 degrees? That's quite a difference there. It was a warm day. Record, we were 4 degrees shy of a record there. That was 86 back in 2023, and a record low was 22 back in 1890. No precipitation received at the National Weather Service here today. All right, our KTPS 3 weather watchers got quite a few reports today. Bertha Knight in Nashville, Arkansas, 80 degrees. Joyce Sproles in Ozan at 79. Chuck Hammond, Redwater, registered 80 degrees. We had Reed Eisenhower in Texarkana in the lower 80s. Also the lower 80s for Paul Picola in Hugh Springs. Brian Loper, Atlanta, Texas. Over in Louisiana, Big Scarborough, Ida, Louisiana, there at 80. Bob Fentress in fabulous downtown Bellevue, 85. And Wayne Hatfield over in the Homer area had 81. So even up in the northern part of the Arklatex, well above average for this time of year for afternoon temperatures. Central sections, June Jones, Elysian Fields there in the lower 80s. Kay Berry over in Stonewall there in the lower 80s. And we had Barry Howard and Clarence at 82 degrees. Around the metro area, Randall Elliott and Benton at 80 degrees. Gary Stratton and Blanchard there in the lower 80s. Around Shreveport Bossier, Ronnie Hall in Shreveport 82, Paul Knipp in Keatfield 83, and Mark Potter in Bossier City at 82 degrees. Just wanted to shout out to everybody. Thank you for your information here today. It was a very warm day. I don't think we had too many complaints out there. And still warm as we head into the evening hours. 70 in Shreveport, Atlanta, mid-70s, Texarkana, mid-60s over toward Ruston. Also doing about the same there in Natchitoches. Manny there, 70 degrees in Mansfield, low 70s in Carthage and Marshall, and also the low 70s up in Idabel, Oklahoma. Mount Pleasant checking in at 71. Nothing showing up on our Willis Knighton Mega 3 Doppler radar, just a little bit of air density changes that are being picked up by the radar beams over toward the Tyler area and what have you, but no inclement weather to really speak of there at this time. And not a big chance that we'll see anything, but there's a little weather disturbance. The storm track is pretty close by. We're still under the influence of a ridge of high pressure, but the jet stream on the edge of that ridge is kind of hanging out across the northern part of the Arklatex. So a little weather disturbances will continue cutting through at the storm track here for tonight. And so we got a slight chance of measurable rain. That's mainly up southern Oklahoma and southwest Arkansas. Everywhere else, not expecting any measurable rain for you. And then tomorrow that possibility goes down. And what happens there is the ridge of high pressure starts sliding over and the jet stream kind of moves away from us for about a day or so. So the storm track moves away and that rain possibility kind of diminishes there. Here's what I'm talking about, a little easier to see. So we have these passing weather disturbances where you see the green colors there over in Missouri and Illinois, down in the northern Arkansas. That's one weather disturbance that rolled by, riding the jet stream flow there. And a little more energies kind of come in where you see the green colors. That's where you have the dynamic lift, but also the air going over the Continental Divide too. But you're getting lift there, and these disturbances kind of sometimes can spin off the mountains as the air comes over the Continental Divide and gets pushed by the jet stream flow. So anyway, long story short, passing disturbances continue to come our way. But this ridge down here, the strong ridge that's giving us a very stable and incredibly warm weather, will be on the move. So this looks like a mountain ridge that will start kind of working to the east. So that means the jet stream will kind of go a little bit farther away from us for a day or so. And then this midweek storm will come our way, and the jet stream will dip down a little bit closer to us. And that midweek storm brings us our first possibility of some significant rain over parts of the Arklatex for about Wednesday timeframe. Well, here's a satellite and radar imagery, and a computer tries to put a cold front south of I-20 there. It's really more up to the north, but the cold front signifies the southern part of the storm track or the jet stream. So it's just the boundary of the polar jet. and but it's a very weak front. But I do believe it's a little bit farther north. It's a little closer to that disturbance where the rain is at up in northern Arkansas. But the computer model just put a little bit farther south, automated. But anyway, long story short, having that boundary around, there's a little bit of what we call moisture convergence along it, so that could kick up a couple of showers. But again, it's more up in Oklahoma and Arizona or Arkansas. Easy for me to say. So if there's any of that going on tonight with another disturbance passing by, you'd have a couple sprinkles like in Idabel and Broken Bow and DeQueen, Mena, and those areas. The rest of Arklatex will do without. Temperature-wise, 75 in Dallas. You got the 70s down in Austin, a little cooler up in Little Rock, 57. So that's where the frontal boundary is. You can kind of see it there, 64 Memphis, 52 in Oklahoma City. So south of that, where the brown colors are, is where it's those areas are south of the front, and it's in the 70s. So anyway, here's our precision cast forecast. I drew it in on the computer model here. So I'm using that medium range GFS computer model to go for the next 24 hours. You see a little green on the map. So there's a possibility of a little shower activity as we go through the remainder of this evening on into the overnight across the I-30 corridor. And it'll just kind of hang out near that front. That front doesn't move a whole lot. Storm track kind of stays put for another day until the ridge kind of passes by as we head toward the middle part of the week. As we get into your Monday morning, a little bit of patchy fog and low clouds possible as far north probably as I-20, where the humidity has increased quite a bit, and still showers kind of moving back up to the north away from us there as we head toward the morning time frame, and not a big chance of showers near the I-30 corridor as we get into the Monday afternoon time frame. But notice that the computer model indicates that we start out with the low clouds and the fog, and then the clouds just kind of go away, and we have some sunshine for your Monday afternoon. So it'll look a little gloomy for the morning, and then the afternoon I think will be an improvement over what we start with. Here's a little closer examination. So as we go through this 10 o'clock tonight, it's kind of a cool night, but not terribly cold. Patchy fog, low clouds as we head toward dawn. Spotty showers north and west of I-30, and then the sun comes out and clouds kind of break up there, and it looks like a pretty nice Monday once again. Future rainfall, the computer model tries to give us a little bit in the northern part of the Arklatex there, just barely enough to measure, and so not really too concerned about that. For tonight, about 56 degrees, so just to reiterate, a couple showers north and west of I-30, patchy fog up to I-20, and some low clouds there, light southerly winds, humidity increasing quite a bit. And that's good for the fire danger. That is going to at least limit it some there as we head on into your Monday. In the next couple of days, as the south winds start picking up, bringing more moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, that fire danger will go down just a little bit and won't totally go away until we get some significant rain, though. And with the winds higher as the week progresses, that fire danger will be kind of offsetting that increased moisture from the Gulf of Mexico until we get some measurable rain. Lows tonight, generally in the 50s there, and then we get into tomorrow about 82. Sunshine and warm for the afternoon, and still some spotty showers probably well north of our Arklatex area. But highs in the 80s, winds out of the south about 10 miles an hour, pretty much the low 80s across our area. And it'll warm up even more as the week progresses, as I'll show you in just a moment. So here's our midweek storm. That storm system off the west coast comes pushing by and probably we get the tail end of the trough. So you see, so this is a jet stream forecast in the upper level river wind. It blows parallel to those lines, geostrophic flows in the meteorological terms. And so when you have a little trough like that, little dip there, that's where your inclement weather can happen, especially if you have enough moisture. And so the dynamics of the lift is just to the right of that line that I drew there, the trough and the axis there. So anyway, extends down into the Arklatex. We're on the southern end of it. More of the action will probably be up there in the plains right around the upper level low. And so that is for Wednesday. That gives us our first chance of some significant rain for Wednesday. And then you see a pretty good trough starting to dig way out to the west. And what looks like may happen, I didn't get a chance to draw this in, this may actually split and you'll get a northern flow, and the southern end will get cut off for a while until it gets picked up by another trough. What that means in the grand scheme of things, we may stay, and you can see here, this is by Wednesday, the jet stream flow with the ridge off to the east of us over Florida. We get a southwest flow. And southwest flow is pretty good about giving us some inclement weather. In other words, clouds and rain, because you're starting to pick up some moisture from the Pacific. And with the disturbance, so the trough out there, you get this little areas of spin up in the atmosphere, dynamic lift. And so you're getting little disturbances that come by every so often. And you're getting some flow of moisture coming from the Pacific. And it also is picking up moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico. So the moisture is increasing. You're getting the dynamics. You're getting the wind shear. You're getting quite a few things, a little bit colder upper atmosphere too, with some of these disturbances coming by. And so showers and thunderstorms become increasingly prevalent in that type of setup. So that's the latter part of the week. That disturbance on Wednesday brings a cold front into the area. It doesn't push all the way through because that disturbance, once it moves by, you get the ridge behind it, which draws the front back to the north. So with the center of that weather disturbance so far north, we're not going to get this front to push all the way through and cool us down. But having it close by will give us some showers and thunderstorms, and some of those could be severe. Storm Prediction Center 4-day outlook shows the potential of hail and gusty winds, a 15% chance in their forecast thinking this far out, and that'd be for Wednesday. And you can see it's kind of the I-30 corridor. And when I say I-30 corridor, it's just the I-30 going through Hope, Texarkana, Mount Pleasant on down toward Dallas, Fort Worth. So it kind of parallels that area going up into Oklahoma and southwest Arkansas and covering north central and northeast Texas. The rest of the Arctic doesn't look like a big chance of rain for you. Now, we get in toward the latter part of the week, and that system out west looks like it splits, and you get a little bit of a cutoff area that sends little disturbances our way there. The forecast is showing this is Saturday afternoon, some green on the map and some pretty good rain possible. And having this front stationary, it's paralleling the flow, so there's nothing to move it along there. So it's just kind of hanging out. That could be a focusing mechanism for some pretty good rains in our area. The computer model seems to be picking up on that right now, but it's still a week away, and a lot of things could change. But if that comes to fruition, showers and thunderstorms, some heavy downpours, that could really take care of some of our drought issues there, and we could certainly use all the help we can get. And so that's the Saturday forecast. And then Sunday, looks like the weather pattern changes a little bit, and that stationary front kind of just drags off to the north and east and dissipates. But we still have the potential for rain in that outlook for Sunday. So anyway, here's your 7-day forecast. So again, we'll have a little bit of patchy fog and low clouds to start the day, especially south of I-20. And then northern section, still a few sprinkles possible north and west of I-30. In between, it looks like just a kind of a humid morning for you. And then we get into the afternoon, we're in the 80s. Tuesday doing about the same, except the near 100% relative humidity line kind of reaches Louisiana and Arkansas borders. So I think a good deal of the Arctic could have the low clouds and some patchy fog around to start into our Tuesday, and we're near 60 degrees. And then the winds are kicking up there, and we're looking at probably the low to mid 80s by afternoon. Mid 80s there on Wednesday, and then we have that frontal boundary slowly pushing into the area, and that gives us that chance of showers and storms. Some could be severe in the afternoon. That weather system may linger and through Thursday morning, and then we'll get a break, and it warms up even more with more sunshine and a lot of humidity around. Very muggy forecast, mid to high 80s there on Thursday. Friday, we're looking at a possibility about 87 degrees. At least the computer model is throwing that number out there. Only a slight chance of rain, but then going into Saturday, as some disturbances coming in from the southwest and our southwest flow, at least right now, it looks like a pretty good shot of some much-needed moisture falling out of the sky, and also at least through Sunday morning there, and that may cool us down ever so slightly, even though lows will be in the 60s, highs perhaps the 70s. So bottom line is weather pattern change starting about Wednesday time frame does increase our chance of getting rid of this drought. So we'll continue to monitor that. We'll have a complete weather update for you at 9 on KPXJ CW21, and I believe it's at 10 o'clock on KTBS Channel 3. I'm not sure the basketball game situation here tonight, but anyway, we'll see you back later on. We'll have news, sports, and lots of weather there for you. And in the meantime, let's see. We'll see you back in about 45 minutes again on KPXJ CW21 News at 9. Y'all have a nice evening, and thanks for watching.